Now let's discuss the next gland, that is the pancreas. Well, pancreas is located posterior to the stomach inside the abdominal cavity, and it's a soft greyish pink gland that is 2.5 cm wide and 12 to 15 cm long, and it weighs around 60 grams, right? So pancreas weighs around 60 grams. We will be discussing pancreas based on the external structure and the internal structure. Let's first discuss the external structure. External structure is divided into head, neck, body and tail, right? There are two ducts. We have the main pancreatic duct and we have an accessory pancreatic duct. When we talk about the main pancreatic duct, it is also known as the duct of Wirsung. The main pancreatic duct is also known as duct of Wirsung, which is formed from many smaller ducts within the pancreas, right? Now it opens into the duodenum, and where it opens the duodenum, we have a hepatopancreatic ampulla, which we also call as the ampulla of Vater. We also call this hepatopancreatic ampulla as the ampulla of Vater. So the main pancreatic duct, that is the duct of Wirsung, carries the pancreatic juice and releases into the duodenum from this hepatopancreatic ampulla, that is ampulla of Vater, right? Then we have an accessory pancreatic duct, which we call as duct of Santorini. Now this duct, this accessory pancreatic duct, it is a vestigial duct. It is not there in humans, right? And it opens into the duodenum and directly releases its secretion, right? So externally we have discussed that pancreas is divided into head, neck, body and tail, and we have two types of ducts. We have the main pancreatic duct and the accessory pancreatic duct, but accessory pancreatic duct is actually vestigial and it is not there in case of humans, right? Now moving on to the internal structure. Well, we have divided the internal structure into two parts, that is the exocrine part and the endocrine part. Now when we talk about the exocrine part, this actually involves this acinar cells. The exocrine part consists of lobules, and the cells, we call these cells as the acinar cells. Now they actually release this pancreatic juice that has a pH of around 8.4. Look at this diagram first of all. We have this exocrine part and the endocrine part. So this one, this region, this is the exocrine part, and this internal one, it is the endocrine part. So these we have what? We have these as the acinar cells, right? You can also call a single cell as pancreatic acini, right? So let me label this. We can call this as pancreatic acini, right? So these are actually the group of these acinar cells, right? They form the exocrine part of the pancreas. Then when we talk about the pancreatic juice, then this pancreatic juice contains what? It contains sodium bicarbonate and these three major, you can say, these enzymes, that is trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen and procarboxypeptidase. So we have in the pancreatic juice sodium bicarbonate, trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen and procarboxypeptidase. Now what is this role of pancreatic juice? It helps in digestion of starch, proteins, fats and nucleic acids. So pancreatic juice is very important because it helps in digestion of starch, proteins, fats and nucleic acids. So moving back to the exocrine part, these are, remember, which cells? The acinar cells, right? They release what? They help in the release of these pancreatic juice, and this pancreatic juice actually contains what? It contains sodium bicarbonate and these enzymes, which are the major enzymes over here, which help in the digestion of starch, proteins, fats and nucleic acids. Now then we have the endocrine part, right? Now in the endocrine part, we have the group of cells we call as islets of Langerhans, right? We call them as islets of Langerhans. Now in this islet of Langerhans, which is shown here, this internal part, which is the endocrine part actually, we have the alpha cells, the beta cells, the delta cells and the pancreatic polypeptide cells, right? You can write alpha cells as this, beta cells as this, the delta cells as this with the symbol delta, and you can also call pancreatic polypeptide cells as PP cells or F cells. You can call them as PP cells or F cells. Now when we talk about alpha cells, these alpha cells are mostly located towards the periphery, right? So this is an alpha cell, right, located towards the periphery. Then we have the beta cells. These beta cells are generally in the middle region. So, this is a beta cell. They are generally in the middle part, and they are numerous in the middle part, I mean to say. Then we have the delta cells and pancreatic polypeptide cells. These are the delta cells, right. They are also located towards the periphery, and then we have the pancreatic polypeptide cells. We have pancreatic polypeptide cells. Now remember that this is what? This is actually the endocrine part, right. So these cells are the part of the pancreas, which is actually the endocrine part of the pancreas, and the pancreatic acini, they actually are there in the exocrine part of the pancreas, right, exocrine part, and they are in the endocrine part, right. Remember, alpha cells, they are there near the periphery, beta cells are numerous in the middle part, and then we have the delta cells and the pancreatic polypeptide cells, right. So this is a hepatopancreatic duct. It is a hepatopancreatic duct, right. So this is how you can actually show the internal structure of the pancreas based on the type of cells that are there in the exocrine part and the endocrine part. Now let us see what type of hormones do these cells actually release. Well, if we talk about the alpha cells, these alpha cells release the hormone that is glucagon. This glucagon helps in the conversion of glycogen into glucose. It converts glycogen into glucose, and the beta cells, they actually secrete the hormone that is insulin. Insulin converts glucose into glycogen. It converts glucose into glycogen, and if there is actually, you can say, the deficiency of this insulin hormone in your body, then what is going to happen? You can suffer from diabetes mellitus, right. You can suffer from diabetes mellitus. Then we have the delta cells. Delta cells secrete the hormone that is somatostatin. Somatostatin is also known as the growth inhibiting hormone because it actually inhibits the secretion of insulin and glucagon. So that is why we also call it as growth inhibiting hormone. Then we have the pancreatic polypeptide cells. They secrete the pancreatic polypeptide, which inhibits the release of pancreatic juice. The role of this hormone, that is pancreatic polypeptide, is that it inhibits the release of pancreatic juice, right. So overall, we have discussed the exocrine part and the endocrine part. Since it is actually releasing the pancreatic juice also, that is directly through the hepatopancreatic duct into the duodenum. It also has an endocrine part which releases these hormones. So this gland, this pancreas is also known as a heterocrine gland. It is also known as a heterocrine gland. Why? Because it serves two purposes, the exocrine purpose also and the endocrine purpose also. Means it releases pancreatic juice also, that is through this hepatopancreatic duct, and it also releases these hormones, right. So since it has an exocrine function also and endocrine function also, this pancreas, this gland is also known as a heterocrine gland. So let's recall everything what we have done so far. We have discussed the external structure and the internal structure, right. In the external structure, we have discussed two ducts. We have the main pancreatic duct and the accessory pancreatic duct. The main pancreatic duct opens into what? Hepatopancreatic ampulla, and the accessory pancreatic duct that opens into the duodenum, and this is vestigial actually. It's not there in case of humans. In the internal structure, we have divided into two parts, the exocrine part and the endocrine part. Just look at this. We have this exocrine part and we have this endocrine part. In the exocrine part, we have the cells which we call as what? The acinar cells. You can also call a single cell as a pancreatic acini, right? They actually help in the release of this pancreatic juice, right. With the, you can say, this pancreatic juice, you can see what is there in the pancreatic juice. We have sodium bicarbonate, which makes the medium alkaline for the digestion. Then trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, procarboxypeptidase. They are also released with this pancreatic juice. This is the composition of pancreatic juice. Not only this, besides this, pancreatic juice also contains several other, you can say, enzymes also. For example, lipase helps in digestion of fats. So similarly, there is you can say in pancreatic juice actually helps in the digestion of starch, proteins, fats and nucleic acids, right. Then we have the endocrine part, which has actually 4 types of cells, that is the alpha cell, beta cell, delta cell, pancreatic polypeptide cell. What is important here is to understand which hormone is released by which type of cell. This alpha cells release glucagon, beta cells release insulin, delta cells release somatostatin and the pancreatic polypeptide cells release pancreatic polypeptide. So just remember the names and remember the function what these hormones are going to perform. So pancreas forms one of the very important gland that helps in the digestion of the starch, proteins, fats and nucleic acid by releasing this pancreatic juice which is rich in hormones, you can say, and enzymes as well. So pancreas, this 60 gram gland is a very important gland when we talk about the digestive system.